Hello everybody, today we got a giant sturgeon weighing 44 kilograms. A sturgeon of this size is very rare, and it looks just like some kind of prehistoric fish, with armor on its head and such big spikes on its back. We turn it onto its side, cut it under the fin, and move it up towards the head. Turn it over on its other side, and cut through the same way under the second bit. And now we need to kill the ridge. Done. We don't throw the head out. Let's do this. If there are 200,000 likes on this video, then in the next video we will cook a royal ear in a cauldron from this hefty head. And now we cut off the spikes. From above, we make a vertical incision to the ridge. And do exactly the same thing one more time, only so that a gray stripe remains in the middle. We also cut off the upper fin. Make incisions deeper and deeper. And now we just get the spine with bones and entrails. We clean the meat from all of the ugly pieces. Wipe it down with paper towels. And this is the end of the cutting. Now we marinate the fish in lime. Cut it into circles. We're done. Now we shift the lime onto our fish and distribute them out so that the lime covers the entire surface area of the meat. Done. Let's marinate that for 4 hours, after which we remove the unnecessary lime slices. Now we need a bath like this. We will cook the sturgeon in salt. We open it up. And fill up the entire bottom of the bath. Now we transfer the sturgeon to the salt. and open it up. Now we need another large container. We also filled that up with salt. Fill it up with water. And mix it. And now we cover our sturgeon with the wet salt. And press it down thoroughly with our hands. That's it. Now we send it to our giant oven. And leave it to bake for 4 hours. In the meantime, we'll make a sauce for our fish. Cut off 100 grams of butter and put it into a pan. Completely melt it and add some flour. This works like a thickener. Mix it so that it absorbs the butter. Pour in half a bottle of milk. Mix it with a whisk, breaking all the lumps. Then chop up the remaining milk. Add 3 teaspoons of nutmeg, French herbs, and basil. Mix all this until it thickens. Add some salt, and our sauce is ready. We also need some tomatoes. Cut them into slices. Cheese will also serve as a filling for the fish. Cut off the part of the cheese that we need for later. And cut the rest into smaller pieces. And grate it. The fish is already baked in salt, so we take it out. We pick up the salt with a hatchet and remove it in large chunks until the sturgeon is completely open. The remaining grains of salt are simply swept away with a brush. Spread the cream sauce on the sturgeon. And spread it around. There you got it. Pine nuts are also perfect here. Evenly scatter them all over the fish. Open up a pesto sauce and sprinkle it out with a spoon. And finally, we spread out the tomatoes. Pour some olive oil on. And pop it into the oven one more time for 1 hour. For 1 hour. In the meantime, we will prepare a side dish. You need to peel the onion. Then we cut them into cubes. We light a fire. Open up some butter and send 400 grams into the cauldron. This needs to be melted. Put a lot of the chopped onions in there. They need to be fried until transparent. Now we pour out 3 kilograms of rice. And fry it dry for a couple of minutes. Now we pour in 2 liters of chicken broth and add in some water. We salt this all thoroughly and just cook the rice. While the water evaporates, grate the cheese. The rice is already cooked. Add the cheese to it. And mix it in so that it melts. The sturgeon with the filling is already baked. Now we just have to put some grated cheese on top. Let it spin another 10 minutes in the oven until the cheese is melted. After this, the sturgeon is ready. It turned out very nicely. Let's put some rice on a plate and cut off a piece of fish. Hey everybody! Today we decided to cook a giant Skittle. Let's open the packet and see what it's made of. Inside there are a bunch of small candies. If we crush them, it becomes clear that there is a candy coating around a soft, chewy inside. Now let's buy everything we need to cook a giant Skittles. First up, you'll need a lot of sugar, a box of oil. We go to the produce section, and we take out quite a lot of lemons. We choose the largest and ripest watermelons and put them in the cart. We'll need a total of 7 watermelons. We pull up to the checkout with 2 carts full. We unload them. Our check came out to $162. In addition to this, we bought another 30 kilograms of glucose syrup. To make it easier to work with, we'll pour it into a large saucepan. I ordered something special for this video. These are semicircles made out of acrylic. They will serve as our huge Skittles mold. We fill the mold with oil and smear it around with a brush. Let's unroll the parchment paper. We make pretty deep cuts along the edges and carefully put it inside the mold. Thanks to the oil, the parchment sticks well to the mold. That way we cover up all the inside of the semicircle. Done! It turned out great. Now we put the saucepan on the scales. We put 150 grams of glucose syrup into it. And pour 350 grams of sugar into that. Now we pour in 100 milliliters of water. We put all this on the stove and cook the syrup. Be sure to use a thermometer. We need to wait until the temperature reaches 147 degrees Celsius. Done. Now let's squeeze a little purple food dye into a teaspoon and mix it into our candy coating. The acrylic molds don't really like changes in temperature, so to heat them up, we'll turn on really hot water and fill a bath. We lower the mold into the water, and only now do we pour in the candy coating. Yes, we'll be filling the mold for a long time, so we decided to make a double portion. So we'll be doing 2 equal saucepans at once. Put it on the stove. We cook up the mixture and add in the food coloring. Let's send the second mold into the bath. Pour the coating along the walls. Well, we cooked and molded the coating for 7 hours. At some point, it began to set crookedly. I had to gradually cover everything up. We returned the molds to the studio. We've already made the outer layer for the candy. Now all we need to do is make the insides. There are many different Skittles flavors. We decided to come up with our own, watermelon. To help out with this, we have a hefty mechanical press. We transfer the watermelons to the sink and wash them thoroughly. We put the clean watermelons in a huge bowl. We install a trough under the press and put a metal barrel on top. We take a watermelon, cut off the end, and then do the same to the other side. We prop it up vertically and remove the entirety of the green peel. Now all we have is the pulp. We throw it into the barrel. Cover the top with a metal disc. Take another watermelon and clean it the same way. We send this to the barrel too, and cover it as well. In advance, we substitute a 20-liter empty cylinder at the bottom and put a funnel into it. We begin to turn the screw. We make sure that it enters the groove of the metal disc. The juice is squeezed out very evenly. It goes into the trough and drains down into the container. We twist the press with all our might. 2 watermelons didn't give us enough juice, so we decided to peel 3 watermelons at once and cut each of them into pieces. We load them into the barrel and covering them with metal discs. Squeeze out the juice. We clean another watermelon. Squeeze the juice out of it too. Now we have almost a full container. But I want my Skittles to be sour. Let's squeeze the juice out of the lemons as well. First, we roll them with our hands on the table to loosen up the insides. Then we cut and squeeze the juice using our hands. All the juice will be sent through a sieve into the container. By the time we get to the studio, the juice has separated, and the red part was at the bottom. We decided to try it, and the taste hasn't really changed at all. I mean, real watermelon juice can be transparent. We shake the container well, and the color comes back. For the inside of the candy, we need 4 pots. We pour 150 milliliters of watermelon juice into each of them. Then 200 grams of glucose syrup, and 300 grams of sugar into each. We put all this onto the stove. Be sure to put a thermometer in one of the pots. The candy is boiling and you can't touch it at all. Just wait until it reaches 123 degrees. Open the butter. We cut it into small pieces. And one by one, send it into the pots, along with a teaspoon of white dye. Now we mix it up. The candy is ready. Just have to pour it into the molds. Oh, you have no idea how long we've been cooking all this. A day and a half. Finally, the molds are completely filled. Only a day later, the caramel completely cools down and becomes the desired soft consistency. Using a knife, we chip off the uneven edges of the candy. One half is covered with parchment. We put a board on top and turn it over. We remove the mold. Tear off the parchment. And turn over a candy half. The same should be done with the second one. Now, the most dangerous thing is to attach the two halves to each other. Then the worst thing imaginable happened. One half slipped and we heard a crunch, which really scared us. We were trying to connect the two halves. So we tear off the parchment and see the candy coating has split. We were really upset. Well, what can you do? We tried to at least save the filling. We transfer it into the mold. We'll have to redo the candy coating, but this time we'll do it differently. Again, we cover the mold with parchment. In the middle, we put a ring pasted with parchment. With the help of a hairdryer, we thoroughly warm up the mold. We cook the purple coating again, but something really scary happened here. At some point, the hot candy exploded with such a force that it knocked off the grate, splattered the ceiling, half of the studio, and got on my face. With serious burns and eye injuries, I was taken to the hospital by ambulance. If you want to see how my face looks now, then follow the link in the description to my Instagram. I should say right away, this isn't for the faint of heart. While I'm recovering, my dad will finish the Skittle. He pours that purple candy down the walls of the mold. He files the uneven edges. And turns it over to empty the mold. Then he tears off the parchment and takes out the ring in the middle. The edges of the lower half are now coated with the hot candy mixture. Now we connect the two halves very carefully and gently. Once again, we go around, connecting them at the crease. We take all the filling we managed to save. Using a knife, we cut off pieces from it. We fill our Skittle to the brim. And close it off from above. The joint is filled with the mixture. We just cut off the excess with a knife. Using a burner, we warm up our Skittle from the outside to melt small chips and sugary crumbs. On a piece of parchment, we draw the S logo. Now we melt white chocolate in a steam bath and fill it into a regular syringe. With its help, we first draw the outline of the letter, then fill in the inside. We wait for the chocolate to harden and transfer it to the candy. That's it! Our giant Skittle is finally ready. We spent a lot of money, time, and most of all, health on this experiment. If my dad hadn't helped me, we probably would have never finished this video. Our Skittle weighs in at 78 kilograms. Let's smash it. We'll try both parts at once, the candy coating and the filling.